We arrived in Cape Town and we are now in an Airbnb for a couple of days, and a couple of days we stay here. We washed all our clothes and we were in more than the Western world with all the luxury you have here, which we enjoyed.
But we also got quite some questions from our followers regarding us and how it's been up until now and what it's going to be in the coming weeks or months. So we thought we would do an interview. So we've gathered questions and we will answer them in this video.
I think when we start dating quite early already, so we met on the internet, and we had, I think in the first or second date, we already talked about holidays and what holidays we liked, and there we realized that there was quite a fit in adventurous holidays. I think already in the first or second date.
And I think we even said, okay, we do like adventure, but normally you go away from your home to have an adventure, and that we said, why not try to make our normal lives also more adventurous? So then we didn't have an idea for an expedition, but there was a search for adventure. So this has been born when we went on holiday. We flew to Johannesburg 4 years ago, and we rented a 4x4. And we drove through Namibia and Botswana, and we just were really surprised by Africa. We had never been before. And yes, but we also saw here the impact climate change can have. So if the temperature would increase by 1 degree, then there would be no life at some places, or even less. So we thought, okay, we will fly back, but then try not to fly anymore and find other ways to maybe come back at the same location once.
Yeah, and that's how we started to renovate our house and our lives. We changed our lives in a more sustainable way, and so solar panels, a heat pump, and also collecting rainwater to flush our toilet. But yeah, not flying means you stay quite close to home. So we thought, how can we still be able to travel long distances or to far away countries? And then, this came up that we maybe could drive a long distance with an electric car. I think the biggest challenge was finding partners for this expedition because altogether it was quite expensive. So the car, but the solar system, and it was not all on money-wise, also on products. So we have, for example, our charger. It's not on the market yet, so we really needed companies to help us with creating products that are not there, and that was quite doable. But it cost quite some effort and time to find the partners and to convince them that our idea was really feasible and doable. And of course, we proved it that it's now already doable.
Yeah, I think me personally, I was even more nervous when we decided we would share in our business network that we were going to do this. And when we did this, we were not ready by far, so we didn't even have a car yet. But we decided by sharing that would open doors maybe as well. So we had the risk that we would fail and that it wouldn't be a success and that we wouldn't be able to do it. But then on the other hand, by sharing, that maybe made it more possible as well. So we took the gamble, but it was quite a big step to do so. Yeah.
Favorite music?
Oh, I know that. We are quite long in the car the whole day, and we don't really have one song, but we have a remix. And this remix is of 4 hours, and we have listened to it, I don't know how often, but really often, because we downloaded it and we are often offline, so then you don't have the ability to listen to everything. And this remix is from Tony from Above and Beyond, a DJ group that we like very much.
They make deep house music.
Yes, and he has one remix, and we listened to this, and it kind of gave us both comfort. So it felt like our car was our home when it was on. And in the most emotional part of the 8 to 9 months, it really helped us through. So for us, that was when we crossed from Nigeria to Cameroon. Then the road was really bad, and we both had separately a meltdown, like we don't know it anymore. And then we said, okay, maybe just turn on this music because we know it really well and it gives us...
Familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar and it gives us kind of maybe some trust again to keep going. And I think that really helped as well.
Yeah,
so it's
definitely.
magic. It's a magical remix now for us.
Yeah, we will share the link in the video.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, what is still feels really surreal is that we were able to charge our car with solar panels, and the past months were like the last two countries or three, so South Africa, Namibia, and in Angola were difficult to charge with our solar panels because there were a lot of clouds and it was already winter, so we had to find a very steep hill. But from the southern part of Morocco all the way to Ghana, we drove purely on solar energy, and that felt so strange but very positive because you just drive for free. Of course, we had to invest in all the equipment, and but just we had the equipment and we could drive a very heavy car with a lot of equipment and tires that are not at all good for your range and rooftop tent. And then you just drive there, put the solar panels out, and the next day you can drive another 250 kilometers. That's
With a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And I think the excitement in that also was that quite quickly, for us, it was really normal to do so. Even though we had to tell each other often that it was like so unique what we were doing because you forget it when you do it every day. That we said, yeah, do you realize, like yesterday we charged and now we're driving on the energy we charged with our solar panels, that you keep that in mind. It was really, a good feeling.
Yeah, it was, For me, I think, Renske already told a little bit about it, that between Nigeria and Cameroon, we had a road that was really, really bad. And we had on 4 days that we drove there an average speed of 6 kilometers per hour. And on the second day, end of the first bad day, we were still in a very positive vibe, but it was already dark, so we decided to camp next to the road, and it is a very remote road, so there are no cars. And the next morning, thought, okay, we will leave early as possible, then we have the whole day. But then in the afternoon, the day before, it started raining, and not that much, but just a little bit of rain. And during the night, we both had a very bad night due to the rain, because every drop felt like a nail on our tent, because we were driving on a road with what is not tarmac, it was all mud, and it was dried up mud. So the next morning we started early, but way too early. It means that the mud was still very wet, and our car was sliding all over. And I think we drove 100 meters, and we really lost ourselves there mentally. And it was quite hard, and we just said, okay, we need help. We cannot deal this ourselves. But in the end, we found ourselves again. We thought, okay, we need to at least drive 200 meters because if we turn around here, we cannot. So let's just, after like I think an hour or so, we just decided to just try it, and very slowly, and we really found the piece together, and really it was really teamwork. Renske walking in front of the car, and a little bit to this, a little bit to that side, slowly, and that I think the most remarkable for me was that we were really like a meltdown on mentally, and that we, like I think 2-3 hours later, we had all the energy back and more to do it, and then in the end that we made that route.
I think that moment, that's the only moment that I really remember that we said, okay, well, maybe not stop, but that we had to turn around and try a different route. So for us, that didn't mean that we would go home and give up. That has actually never really been a thought at all at any point. I don't know why, but we just felt we are going to do it, and that was no question. But the moment that, as Maarten said, we had a meltdown, we didn't know yet how anymore.
And like that we had to turn around means that we had to ship the car via container. So it's not that we turn around to the Netherlands, but
it was the only route that was open to go there.
It was the only route between Nigeria and Cameroon that was open.
For me, that's really easy. That's the people I have at home. I did know what the feeling of missing was, but not like this because it's for so long. And I, by 8 months, found somehow a way to deal with it. but it's always there, so that's what it is. For me, it also is a positive thing because I have something to go home to, and I really look forward to that as well. But it does really hurt sometimes, and it's a very strange pain because you don't have anything physical, but it does really hurt. It's very, yeah, it is there. Mm-hmm. So that's for me, very easily.
Martin?
Yeah, I think we were sitting next to each other for past 8.5 months, like more than 800 hours, and we still love each other very much. But in the end, you want to hear other people's thoughts, and we didn't met a lot of people on the way, yeah, that sometimes that you get a little bit stuck in your own head with your thoughts, or we're together, and then yeah, some topics you have talked about it a lot already. So then it's somehow you cannot yeah, evolve in getting the topic out.
You get less input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in some way the luxury, especially in the beginning, Morocco was quite cold, and as well in Namibia it was cold again, and that's not what I expected to have in Africa. So in some way it was we enjoyed it very much to have to have very basic things in our lives. So we have to, for doing groceries, we could do every 2 or 3 weeks in a more luxury supermarket. Or finding water, like there was sometimes really a daily thing we had to do. But that was also the fun part. Yeah, it's.
And I think for the both of us as well that for us when we are at home, our job is not only to earn money, but also quite a big part of who we are. And it's also a way to get some mental challenges to fix and to solve and to think about this expedition for us was a reason to go on that long travel, because otherwise for us that wouldn't be so tempting. But still we didn't have that much to do while driving, so we brainstormed quite a lot on how we could take our followers as much with us on this journey, and so that was something we could brainstorm a lot about. But at some point,
it was sometimes also quite boring.
It was, yeah. So that as well. Yes. For me, Maarten has some skills we didn't know, at least I didn't know before we started all this, in figuring out how techniques work with electronics, with the electric car, with our charging system. It's and somehow he always finds a way to really understand how it works, or to solve it, or to make it better, or to. So to me, he's kind of the brain in how the car is all working. So that's a big part, I think, of your role, as well as when in the really bad driving, the challenging drives we had, then he's really peaceful and overthinking before he does something, and I think therefore the car is a little bit more in one piece than when I would have done it, so that as well. That's mostly, I think, for people at home what you see.
Yeah, for me it's really the arranging all the visa. So we are lucky with our passport, the Dutch passport. We can get a visa for all the countries we drove to, but every country has its own rules, regulations, and forms you have to fill. And I would be completely mad to all figure it out. And Renske arranged it. Every visa was arranged perfectly. We didn't have any issues at the border. Other than the normal issues, but that's out of our control. And all the planning and the communication and the agreements Renske makes with all the people. Renske is doing mostly the communication. And also the humor in a lot of things. So sometimes there are things we're already told that's just very boring, or you just have not your day. Responding on if I am irritated about something, and the response of Renske is just in a funny way, then it's for me it's all how can I stay angry. It's not Renske their fault. It's just me stepping out with the wrong foot out of bed, as we say in the Netherlands. And yeah, then like a smile or just doing something stupid could make me already really happy.
Yeah, I think we do that to the both of us, that we see that when the other is feeling a bit down or doesn't have his day or whatever, then the other one automatically becomes kind of in a clown modus. I don't know. And that helps. Then you make it less heavy. Yeah.
For me, it's definitely I think Alpha. What's his name from Kenya?
Ah yes,
The
Alpha Land Rover.
Alpha
I think.
Land Rover.
Yes.
And
it was a really short meeting.
It was a really short. We met him in Nigeria, and he came from the south, and he's driving north. I think he's now in Paris, and we drove down. So we had just a very quick moment. We met, and we were very tired. So even during the evening we met, we spoke to each other like 15 minutes or so, and it is again the breakdown between Nigeria and Cameroon, the route. But when we had our breakdown. We called him. We just had reception. It was very it was a coincidence that we had reception via internet, and we called him and we explained him in which modus we are in the car, and he said, "Well, where are you now?" And he just convinced us to continue. And for us, he is really.
Without that call,
he gave us again the energy to continue.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But that in one person, but I think in total I was quite surprised by the amount of people we met that were quite made an impression on us. So normally when we go on holiday, we go as remote as we can and don't really look out to meet people. So this expedition was totally different because we want to inspire, and you do need people to get some places, and you meet them somehow, and then you live together. So we had to deal with it, but therefore it really surprised me how nice that was, and how many wonderful people you have in this world. It's
you get to know people who you normally not meet in the Netherlands, or where you don't have the time. There's always time, but now you are more. Well, it doesn't mean negative, but more forced together, and then you stay with other overlanders, for example, in one place where you normally maybe would not have met each other in the Netherlands. But now you just met in the middle of nowhere, and then we always had a good time together, sharing stories and sharing plans and thoughts, and
That's difficult.
For me, I think the drone.
The drone, yes.
Yeah. Because it's not only for our movies, but it's also to see from above yourself. So you see like where you're driving in a different view. So I often fly behind the car when Renske is driving, and I can see on the screen where we are driving, and then it's even more wonderful where you drive. So I would say the drone.
I have no idea actually. A personal belonging.
Your phone.
You use your phone really quite a lot. So, but that's
also
very practical,
and use it for video.
Yes, also for video. It's everything. It's navigation. It's communication. It's
taking videos,
everything.
Pictures.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really have it.
Soap or a kind of soap you use, or a toothbrush, or.
No. Yeah, I think something that I underestimated the value of is the shower. And it sounds really stupid, but some days when you had a really intense day and you put your car somewhere to camp in the wild, and you feel really like empty as a person, then you can sometimes just shower, and we didn't have a lot of water, but it was just like sprinkle and be a bit more clean. And then you feel kind of new again to do stuff again. So it's, I think for me the shower. I think the attitude, the attributes we didn't need, we left somewhere or gave to other people. So one that we took with us was a blanket that was electric to heat up.
We could have used it in Namibia again.
Yes, but then again we could have used it so few times that was it equal to the size of it. So we figured it out quite quickly, and then by coincidence we met other overlanders that were going north into the winter in Europe.
Morocco. It was in Morocco still, so we were like a couple of weeks on the road.
Yes, so we gave it to them as a present, and to me that felt just so good because they were delightfully
really
happy with that.
Yeah.
And for us, we said, maybe we'll get this decision, but then it is what it is, and we'll figure it out then. So for me, that was the
I think that's a good
biggest
example.
Yeah.
And after that, was there another?
There are some things that we maybe we brought a little too much clothes.
Clothes. Too much warm clothes.
Yeah.
Yes. But now we use them, so then again,
Yeah.
but we do have quite some games with us as well, and I had expected
Like board
to be
games.
like small card games and all that kind, because I thought we have quite some times to spend sometimes, and then it's something fun to do, but somehow we just never do it. I think we can count on one hand the amount of times we play the game, and it's. I don't know. Somehow you always feel busy while you're not at all.
Or you're just tired of the day.
Yeah. So we still have them.
We're gonna use them.
We are gonna use them, but I don't know why. When. Yeah.
Yeah. So what it's a quite funny story that in most West African countries there are not a lot of supermarkets, or only in the big cities.
Only in the capital sometimes.
Only in the capital cities. So when we can do groceries, we do it like properly. So we buy a lot of things. And in Namibia, we cleaned our car again and we checked what we had in stock and all. And we came to the conclusion that we had 8 peanut butter pots. Peanut butter
and
things
a lot
with
of
us.
maize as well.
A lot of maize.
Corn,
so we had way too much stock of very specific things. But it was more because we were more in.
Well, if you travel for like a month on one time doing groceries, then at some point the fresh stuff is all gone, and then you get in a modus where a lot of food is kind of a little bit the same, and then you don't really feel like eating it anymore. You don't, even though you're hungry, you're just not in the mood for what you have. So we really try to find things that were always nice or that were something else for once. And then, wraps with peanut butter for us that never got dull, kind of. I think for us, communication.
Definitely.
So we talk quite a lot, and we also talk quite freely together. So if we have a thought and we don't know yet exactly what it is, or if we have a feeling and we don't know yet exactly what it is, then we don't wait that long until we share it. And I think that's for us the solution, because if you wait too long, it can also get bigger and out of proportion. And we don't really come that far. It does happen sometimes when we are really tired, or then...
and it also has to do with accepting that that you make, that you sometimes break things, or you fail something, you do something stupid. And nobody does that on purpose. So then, if I do something stupid, and Renske can be angry if I break something, but then both are negative. So I am already feeling bad about that I broke something. And if Renske also does that, then you have like double negative.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we are sometimes irritated if something breaks or whatever, but it's more about the situation, not on the person. Yeah. And that really helps that we just accept that sometimes things happen that are not nice with the car or,
And I think in addition, the reason it also works for us is because we are both quite different as a person. The way we think and the way we look at things is quite different. So therefore it stays interesting to ask the other person what they think of something. So we were like never apart for 8 months for longer than an hour. Yeah. So you do everything together. So you can never ask how was your day, because you know that already. But you can ask somebody's vision on something, or somebody's opinion about somebody you met, and then for me it never got I kept being surprised about his answers. So then you stay interested, and I think we have that the other way around as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you? Oh my God.
Well, I think that we are in somehow lucky that we are never down at the same time. So we are always like,
Yeah.
if one is down, the other is not, and we didn't had it. That we're both mostly if we are both a little bit down, it's mostly because we didn't eat enough. And then if you eat, then it's already okay. So
I think we had it a little bit when we drove through Congo, because Congo is a beautiful country for sure, but we took the main road as that was tarmac, and we were quite happy to keep our car in one piece and to make some kilometers in a day. But we drove quite slow and for really long, and the scenery didn't change a lot. And then
it was really boring.
It was really boring, and for us, we really had to deal with it together. So we felt both down about it, but we also knew we both had it. So I think in that period, we also were less critical on each other, because you know the others having it heavy as well. So you accept a bit more, because otherwise, you are not happy yourself either. Yeah.
Well, it's what we said in the beginning. What we have seen in Namibia, it's such a beautiful and ancient country and so untouched. And if we as human beings are a little bit using the planet too much, we are not in balance. I think that we are creative enough to live as human beings in balance with Earth, but we have to put effort into it, and I think that we put effort in sustainability, and hope as well that we can inspire other people that, well, maybe we put like a lot of effort in it, but that other people maybe also get inspired to do their part in sustainability, because we only have one planet, and it's already getting hotter and hotter, and
we just appreciate nature as it is quite a lot, because it's so unique and beautiful, and we just really like it a lot. And I think as well that by living more in balance with nature, we as humans will feel better as well. So speaking of our home country, quite some people are stressed, are out of balance themselves. And I think it can also help for that, because you are more critical in what you really need. You have a higher purpose to do stuff. I think we miss that sometimes, as we lost it a little bit somehow. And by finding that balance again, I think many more people can become more happy, and as well as nature will become more happy. So the both. Yeah. Yes. Don't give up.
Don't give up. So because it's quite hard to arrange it. It costs a lot of effort.
But it makes you feel so alive as well.
But that's why for sure. So it costs a lot of effort, and you get a lot of hard time. But then, don't give up. And what we heard from others as well, organizing some kind of expedition, is celebrate the most smallest victories. So even you have a very small victory in organizing it, celebrate it like it is the biggest. Because you need that positive energy sometimes when you have a lot of setbacks.
And sometimes you make up excuses in your head to not do it, and it goes automatically. And I think the trick is to not give in to those excuses. Because if you really are honest to yourself, it's often an excuse. That's what I experienced, especially in the beginning. When you say, maybe we shouldn't do it because, it will never work, or I don't know, the most stupid reasons. By not giving into it, in the end, a lot more is possible than you think. Yeah. For me, that's not particularly an activity, but more the initiatives we are going to visit, because I think in the East there's quite a lot happening with electric mobility as well, but in a totally different way than in our home country. And I'm really curious why it is. So why is there happening so much there? And yeah, and how they do it, because it's, I think by it being so different from how we are doing it, we can learn a lot from each other maybe as well. So I'm looking a lot forward to that.
Yeah, for me it's just completely different countries again. So yeah, that's also nice, and as well driving back again. So we are already 8 months on the road, and we have another 6 to 8 months again. And what I notice is that like this way of living is quite tiring, because you every day you experience so much, and it is mostly fun, but still a lot of fun experiences on a day is also quite exhausting. And in the end, I also look forward to a more relaxed way of traveling. And I think that East Africa gives a little bit more relaxed traveling because it's a little bit more developed. And therefore finding electricity and water would be a little bit more easy. We're gonna have also bad roads, which also be fun, so it's not always too easy for us. So I think the combination of what Renske said, and also that it will be a little bit less rough than what we had in West Africa.
Even though we now miss the roughness sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's strange, but it is
yeah.
true. Yeah. For me, it is something in between. It's for me, it doesn't feel like I'm working, but it doesn't feel like I'm on holiday either. So yeah, I think that's what because on holiday then, yeah, it's only fun, and it is fun because it's temporary, and what we are doing, that's too long for me to feel temporary. And we do have stuff that you have to do it. So the visas, the making the videos and the communication, which is for me also fun to do, but sometimes even fun things can feel like work. So for me it's something, and it's neither. It's in between.
Yeah, for me as well. So arriving in Cape Town for the first 2 or 3 days, we didn't do much other than like making the video, uploading the video, but we didn't do much tourist stuff because we just had to, found our peace again. So I think the fourth or the fifth day we did the first really tourist stuff, that we snorkeled with seals. So that for me points out that we are more working than that we are on holiday, definitely.
I think we are curious as well.
Yeah, we have some ideas, but it's yeah. So it's interesting that now we already invited 2 companies to speak about our expedition when we are back in the Netherlands, and that's something we look forward to inspire people on sustainability. And we don't expect that a lot of people will do the same what we did, but it's something that not only the sustainability, but also doing something that never have been done before, that we can inspire people just to dare to follow their dreams, and just to dare to start with something you have in your mind that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think as well that we have realized in this expedition even more the importance of politics in the transition. Not for helping the pioneers to do so, but mostly for the followers, to help them in finding a way to implement sustainability in a good way. And I think, I don't know if I want to work in politics, but I want to get closer to it, to use what we have learned from this expedition to help there in doing it in the future. Yeah.
I think we still live in our own house, and also enjoying going to the same house every time, using the same toilet, as strange as it sounds, but going to a different toilet for almost 8 or 9 months in a row, it's just every time is different.
Yeah.
So I think just enjoying being at home and have everything close, and I think for me it feels really that I look forward to it, that we don't have any obligations when we are in the Netherlands. So there's no work we have to start with at a certain date. So therefore we can take the time to go back into the Western speed of living again.
Yeah. I think I do want to challenge myself to not start working directly when I get home. just also to process still and to get used to the Western living style again.
Yeah.
And maybe not work for 5 days a week again, because I am tempted to do so quite quickly, because in 5 days you can do more than in 4. But then by only working 4, that gives you also time for other things. And
What kind of things?
being in nature and being with family and friends and doing some activities. So that as well.
Yeah, I think, and not ending with a negative question, but like what I found a little bit harder than I expected is the poverty that we have seen in other countries. And that's something you cannot get used to. So, and for me, what struck me the most is that people have to walk for water for at least 1 kilometer, and that is just all the water they use. And
It's not even clean water.
It's not even really clean. So that's something that struck me most. But like the other side of it, that all the people we spoke to, even though they were very, very poor, and well, we could see that on their clothes, for example, they were all positive about our expedition and that electric driving really is the future. And especially charging it with solar panels, like everybody, like 99% of the reactions were positive, even though people were really poor. So that's really, that struck me also in a positive way.
Yeah, no, I cannot think of more questions, but that's maybe also an invite for next Thursday, that if people have other questions that haven't been asked, that we have a live Q&A on YouTube, and they can ask it there.